Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our new session that is Data Analysis Project Part 1. And as I promised you, after completing all the videos, we will start our project and we'll work on it. Sorry for being late for that because there are some queries about the previous videos that I was solving for you guys. And thank you for. Your response. That's really nice to see that it's benefiting you and you are learning from it. So now in past a couple of days I'm not getting any query, so I hope you all understanding everything and getting everything. And if you still have any doubt, please write me in the comment box or you can message me directly on LinkedIn as well. So today we are going to start our project, and we starting from cleaning and data validation. And this is a very crucial and important part, and it takes a long time for data analysts and data scientists to clean the data, because when you get data in raw form, there is lots of data that is missing or in wrong format, or there is very inconsistency in the data, because sometimes when you ask people to write something or to give the feedback or to give information, sometimes they like to write all the information and some people they don't like to share all the information. So there could be a lot of missing data, and generally it happens, you won't get all the data perfectly filled. There's always some data missing, most of the time actually. And also there could be some corrupted data, because when you load data from somewhere or from one format to another, sometimes it get corrupted and it doesn't make any sense. So before doing any kind of analyzing, or before doing going further with your project, you must clean and validate your data set. So here we are using customer data set that I got from an internship as a same sample data set. So in that data set, there is this Excel workbook where we have different sheets about our customers. So let's begin. So here, first we will import our libraries that we are going to use in the process. That is pandas, numpy, date time to handle time series data, and missing number is a library that shows missing values in the data frame in the matrix format. So here we are going to use mn as a short name of it, as we use pt for pandas and np for numpys. So here I have given a path variable where I have defined the file path because it has saved in a folder. So there is a folder name and then file name. So here, as I told you, it's an Excel workbook where we have lots of sheets. So I want to know what are the names of these sheets, how many sheets are there. How I will do it? I can check it with pd.excel file, and in the Excel file method I will give the path or the file name if the file is in the same folder, and then dot sheets name because I want to know what are the names of the sheets. If I run it and take a little bit time. Yes, so here you can see there are three sheets in that workbook: transactions, customer demographic, and customer address. So here I'm going to load the sheet that is customer demographic. So how I will do it? I will use read Excel, pd.read Excel because it's an actual worksheet. And then I will give the path or the file name, and then I will give another argument that is called sheet name, and I will give the name of the sheet in quotes, and I'm passing this in a data frame that is called df. So when you run it, The file will be loaded in the data frame df. Here I'm going to show first two rows with two parameter with two argument inside head function. If you don't give any argument, it will print first five rows. So here you can see the first row is empty. There is just a little information about this worksheet, and that's why it's coming a name 1, 2, 3, and I don't want to read it. So, how I can avoid it? While loading my data set, I can give header. What is the header? My header is starting from second row that has index value 1. So I will pass another argument or another parameter inside read excel function that is called header equals to 1. Rest all is same. It is path, sheet name, and now I'm passing header also. Now if I print my data frame and I'm passing this in the same df data frame, when I print it, now you can see it's in the right format. All the column headings are in the header. So column names you can read, and then there is values inside each column. If so, here with shape method, what I can I'm looking here. I want to check how big is my data set, how many rows and columns are there. So when I run df.shape attribute, it will show that I have 4,000 rows and 13 columns in this data set. To get an overview about dataset, I will use info function. It will show me basic information about data frame, like it has 4,000 rows, 13 columns. The columns names are this customer ID, first name, last name, and how many values it has, each column has, and what data type values are there inside each column. So as you can see here, this column has 4,000 entry, but the another column has 3,875 entries. So that means there is some data missing in these columns. So when we check our missing values, if you remember, while calling our libraries, I called one more library called missing no. That means missing number, that shows missing values in matrix format, and that I called with the short name mn. So here in this library there is a function, there's a method called matrix, so I'm calling that matrix format method mn dot matrix, and in the parentheses I'm giving my data frame df. When I run it, you can see that it came in a matrix format. Here is all the column names. This 4,000 is showing total row numbers, and then you can see where value is missing, like in the last name, date of birth, job title, job industry category, default, and tenure has lots of missing data inside it. There is another method that is null, will show you if there is any null value inside data frame, and dot sum will provide you how much in total null values is there in each column. So if you run this data frame dot is null dot sum, it will show you customer ID doesn't have any null values, first name doesn't have any null values, but last name has 125 null values. Likewise, date of birth that is 87, job title 506, job industry category 656, default 302, and tenure 87 again. So these are the null values in total in these columns are there. So how we handle missing data? There's a different methods of handling missing data. Sometimes we want to fill that, we don't want to lose our columns. Sometimes if there are too many missing values in the column, rather removing all the rows will remove that column that has lots of missing data. Or sometimes if there is a little bit missing data inside each column, we delete those rows that has null values inside it, not all the columns. Of course, then we'll lose all the data. So, when we make any changes while handling missing data in our data frame, we always create another data frame. We never make any changes in the data frame where we have our raw data. We don't change, we don't make any changes in our raw data, because once raw data is changed, if you delete something by mistake, you can't retrieve it back. So that's why it's better to have a separate data frame to make any changes in there. So here with copy method, I'm copying that data frame df into a new data frame, that is df underscore cust. Here what I'm doing, in my last name, I'm filling all the null values with empty string. Why so? I will explain you. If you check here, df cast, so you can see values in your column by giving column in square brackets and inside square brackets to write column name in quotes, or you can do it by using df cast data frame dot your column name. It works in the same way. So if I run it, so you can see here is nan value here and nan value here also. So what I'm going to do, I'm changing this nan value as an empty string here. So here I'm filling all the null values with fillna method with empty string, and with in place equals to true, the change will be permanent. If I run it, now you can see there is empty string. There is not nan in here. Now what I'm doing, I'm joining this first name and last name into one name, that is full name, because I'm not going to analyze my data on the basis of name, customer names. What is their first name? What is their last name? So that's why I joined first name and last name together to save my missing value. I don't want to delete those rows just because there is no last name. So that's why I'm joining it in one with tf first name and changing it to string, and then there is a space between first name and last name, and then last name again by changing it as a string. When I run it, now you can see there is all the names, first name and last name together as a full name. Now I have a column full name, so I don't need to keep first name and last name in my data frame. So I'm dropping these two columns from here with a drop method, because there is more than one column. That's why I give it in a square bracket, because I'm dropping my column. That's why my access is 1. If you want to drop a row, then the access will be 0. And again, in place equals to true. That means I want to make this change permanent. And if I check my column names, how many columns I have, you can see there is customer ID, gender, but there is no full name, first name, and last name. And there is a new column, full name, here in the end of the data frame. Now I'm checking again how many missing values I have left. So now 506 in job title and 656 in job industry category. So I don't want to miss so much data from my data frame. So what I'm doing, I'm filling all nan values with others in both in job industry category and in job title as well. When I run it, and I'm going to check again how many null values are there. So you can see there is no null values here anymore, and there is 302 in default. Default, that sounds really weird to have a column name. So I'm going to check first what kind of data is in there in the default column. It also comes in data validation. You are checking if the data is valid or not. When I run it, you can see there is corrupted data, and I'm not going to use it for analyzing purpose. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop this column default, because I'm dropping column again. I'm using access 1 and then in place equals to true. And I'm checking again here if there is any more missing data. And here, yes, date of birth and tenure has 87 rows that has missing data. There's a lot of columns, yeah, a lot of rows already there, and 87 is a very small number. So that doesn't make any too much difference in the analysis. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drop all the rows that has missing data now. I'm not going to check these columns separately. So what I'm going to do with drop now method, I'm going to drop all the rows that has missing value inside it, and with in place equals true, I'm making it permanent, and I'm checking again if there is any more missing value left isn't there or not, and there is no more missing value. Now I'm going to check the shape. How big is my data set now after making all those changes? So if you remember, we had 4,000 rows and 13 columns before, and now we have 3,913 rows and 11 columns left after making all the changes. If I look at the basic information about my data set, so there is these columns I have 3,913. Each column has these rows, so that means all column has same data set. There's no more missing data, and this is the data type is there. Now I'm going to check what data is in there with head method. I'm going to printing first 5 rows of my data frame, and here I can see gender doesn't look good because it has F here, female here. So it means there is inconsistency in the data. So I'm going to check my gender column by value count method. It will show me unique values and how many times these unique values repeating itself in the particular column. So if I run it, you can see female has this, male this, am this. So there is male also in 2 times it's been referred with male and am. Female has been registered like female, there's a spell mistake female, and then f 3 different formats it has been registered. So now we need to make this in a proper form, in one form. So how I'm doing it, I'm going to create or generate function. I'm defining a function here with the gen function. Here I'm passing a value. It will check the value. If the value is female or female, it becomes F, and if there is male, it becomes M. And I'm returning that value. Here in the data frame gender column, I'm going to call this function gen with method with a method apply. So within the data frame, whenever you want to call a function, you use apply method to call the function. So dot apply, and then I'm calling the function inside apply method without parenthesis gen. And when I run it, sorry, I didn't run this one before. When I run it, you can see all the data that was inconsistent here now is in consistent form. All females are registered like F, and all males are registered M, and all undefined gender are measured as U. Now, if I check again my data set, what values are in there? Now I don't find anything irrelevant or inconsistent, so I'll keep my data like it. With an unique value, what it will do, it will check unique value in each column and how many times it's repeating, like value count. So if I run it, you can see customer ID has 3,913 unique values. There is 3 unique values in gender, as you can see F, M, and U. So this shows how many unique values each column has. Now I'm going to check if there is any duplicate item. Is there any duplicacy in the data frame? Same values are coming in the rows. So there is no duplicate values. So data frame is fine. And now if you want to work with just categorical data, that means the data doesn't have any numerical values. So you can check that with the data frame name, select the type method in which you will do include object, and then dot columns to print the column names. So these columns, gender, job title, job industry category, wealth segment, deceased indicator, owns car, full name, these are string variables, columns that has a string values inside it. That's why it doesn't come in numerical data, it comes in categorical data. If you want to check numerical data, you use include integer 64 in 64 or float 64 dot columns that will show you all numerical data. If you just want to check the columns that doesn't come in categorical data, you can use exclude here, not include, exclude here, and you can use object here, and it will show you all the data that is not categorical. But it comes now date of birth as well, because it's not numerical data type, it comes in time series data type. That's why. So this is the way you can separate categorical and numerical data. If you want to check a statistical summary of your data frame, you use describe method. It takes only numerical values. That's why it is showing customer ID, past 3 years spike related purchases, and tenure. You can see this is the count, this is average, standard deviation, minimum value, 25%, 50%, 75%, and maximum value inside these columns. If you want to include all the data, doesn't matter if it's categorical or not, then you can use include all as an argument inside describe function. And when you run it, now you can see all the data is in there. So all the categorical data summary is on top and all the numerical data summary is below there. So here 3913 is a count. This is the mean, that means average, standard deviation. And here for categorical data, 3, that is unique values. Female is the most frequent value. And how frequently it is coming? It is coming 2039. So you can find all categorical values summary here, and all numerical value summaries are here. So that's it for today. So it is really important before analyzing, you clean your data, you check the data validity if it's right or not. And if you have any doubt, any question, please write me in the comment box. And also write me if you like my video or not. Don't forget to press like button, and also not forget to share with your friends so they can also benefit from it. If you haven't seen previous video and this becomes confusing for you, then there is a link given in the description box. That's the link of the playlist where you find all the videos, and also the link of GitHub repository where you will find all the exercises that we have covered in the videos for your reference. So keep practicing, keep learning, and if you have any doubt, don't forget to write in the comment box. Till then, see you next time. We'll do data manipulation with that.